I'll make the glasses not so annoying. Okay. Hello. My glasses are very annoying. I don't know if I can try to sit over here instead. Get rid of my nice background. Okay. I had a nice background, but my glasses were being annoying. I was originally going to film this all exciting and gothed up and stuff, but and I did put makeup on for it, but then it just didn't look right. It just didn't go the way I was hoping, so I took it off and did this instead. So we're kind of being more casual today now. Before I really, okay, this video is going to be in like 2 segments. Not 2 videos, but 2 segments. Like, I want to start this video off addressing people who are like frantically freaking out, searching Google, searching YouTube, and what to do about getting suspended from university. I want to address those people first, because they're looking for like a quick thing to hear, not necessarily listen to my long drawn out story. Then I will get into like the meat of like my experience and what happened to me. So first things first, you are going to be okay. It is okay. You can like breathe, calm down. You will get through it. It'll be okay. When you get that letter, what I would advise, first of all, I didn't tell my parents. You need to. I did not. I managed to get away the entire year without them knowing. Do not do that. And I will explain more in my story, but basically it became the worst year of my life. It's not going to make it better or easier. It's going to make it harder, first of all, because you're going to have to lie perfectly for as long as you plan on keeping it a secret. Don't do that. Do not lie to your parents. Tell them. You have to tell them. I'm sorry, there's no way around this. There's no it's not just gonna go away. You have to tell them. They're gonna find out eventually. Mine did. I managed to lie that year. They found out years later, but that doesn't, no, don't do that. Go to your parents, tell them what happened, be honest, have a conversation. It's gonna suck. You have to. One thing I'd recommend though, because when I got suspended, it was for mental health reasons, and I felt like I didn't deserve help. I felt stupid. I felt like this was just like, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, what am I doing? There is the option to appeal, typically. And for mental health reasons, you should be able to appeal it. But I wouldn't recommend appealing it, because if it's for mental health reasons, you probably should focus on that, because that needs some healing before you can get back into academia. Clearly something's if anything, this is your sign to address the issues that are internally happening, and doing what you can to help yourself. Pushing yourself to go back to school when you've been struggling so much that you've been suspended. Because I got suspended for my grades being bad. So that's usually, if you're being suspended for other reasons, I don't really know what to do about that. But if it's for grades, I'm assuming you're here because it's for grades. It's not going to get better if you appeal and go back. It's not, your mental health will not change. You know what I mean? There's something wrong, and taking time away from school is probably the right thing to do at this moment. So I wouldn't recommend appealing unless you are absolutely sure that it was a mistake and that you need to be there, want to be there, whatever. What I would suggest is go to an academic counselor or some kind of guidance counselor where you can be honest and talk with them about this, talk about how you've been feeling, and why you think that your grades messed up, and talk about maybe I don't know what I'm doing, maybe this isn't the major for me, I really want to succeed and I really want to pull through, but I feel so lost and I feel so confused with what I'm doing, and I just don't know. Just talk with someone, or talk with someone at the university about it. It is okay. You're not dumb. You are not dumb. You are not stupid. You're not like, I don't know. If anything, you're just not academically, if anything, you're just not an academic type. University is not for everyone, and some people find that out the hard way. But I would have a sit down with somebody at the university and have a conversation about it. I didn't do that. That's something I should have done. I was too busy panicking, right, trying to figure out how to lie to my parents. Don't do that. So yeah, I just, don't lie. Step one, what to do now? Here's my crash course. Don't lie. Talk to your parents or whoever your guardian is. Consider not appealing. And take this as time to figure out what's wrong. And what you need to do. Maybe you need to take some time to, maybe you need to get therapy. Maybe you need to take some time to take extra courses outside to help get yourself ahead or on track with your regular courses, which you can talk to your academic counselor about. And yes, see your academic counselor, have a conversation with them. Even if you're not ready to talk to your parents about it, talk to an academic counselor first if you can. And then also mention the whole, I'm terrified of telling my family. What do I do about that? Maybe even you can get recommended into like a therapist or something as well. But yeah, that's like the best advice I can give. The most important being don't lie and use this time to benefit yourself. Because chances are you're not ready to go back if you've been pushed out. But I'm gonna tell you about my story now. If you want to just use this as a time to calm down and just to breathe and just like put this on while you do dishes or something and just relax. It'll be okay. I'll tell you what happened with me. It's a whole long story. Whew. Okay, I'm apparently sitting up a bit more now, so. Whew. Okay, so where do I even begin? So my first year of university was technically a university college, and that year was a good year for me. I enjoyed the school, I had friends, things were going well. I was taking music. I had an interest in music. And like at the time I was like in a band and stuff. I was like, I need to go and become a better singer and a better songwriter or whatever. So I went in for that. I did well in pretty much all my classes, just music history. I got like a D because but to be fair, it was a third year course. It was a bit too much for me at the time. I was taking 7 courses, like I was full. Or 7, courses. Otherwise I had a good time there. I was in love with somebody. Like I had a really good experience. Then near the end of the year, my parents took me aside and said, we don't want you going to this school anymore because we feel like it's not going to give you a good degree. So I was upset. I was already having a good time. I was already happy there. And keep in mind, prior to going to the school, I had taken a year off after high school because I didn't really want to go to school. I took time to work, and around halfway through that year, my parents were urging me to find a school. So I just picked something nearby, and then it went great until I had to change. That's kind of where everything fell apart. One, I was changing schools because I was being told to change schools, not because I wanted to. Number 2, I already didn't care enough about the degree because I just wanted to learn more about music. I wanted to be a better songwriter, singer, but I didn't really explain it to my parents because, like, I don't know. They weren't, they wanted me to be realistic, and at the time I was not realistic with what I wanted to do in life. Like, I was definitely not ready to make a decision of what I wanted to do because I was still in a fantasy land of like, I want to be a singer, which is sad, but yeah, I didn't even want to go to school. So that when my parents made me change schools, there was even more pushback in me. Like, okay, I didn't want to go to school. Now I went to school. Now you don't even like the school I'm going to. I have to change it. Like, now I got to change. It wasn't fun. And coupled with that, I was losing my friends. I actually got into a fight with them on the last day. I got into a fight and we stopped talking. And then a little bit afterwards, the guy I had a crush on, my one friend who claimed that she didn't like him, suddenly went out with him when I wasn't there. So that destroyed me for a while. So like, it's not just like school things, but like around you, like your environment, right? So I was already like pissed with my parents. I lost my friends. I lost the guy I had a crush on, and I lost the school that I was doing well in. I lost that sense of community that I had there, and I was being thrust into this school. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go there. I got thrust into it. And to be fair, when I started, I put myself in 100%. I tried to make friends. I joined like the representatives. I was the basement representative for my dorm. I pushed myself. I went head first trying to make friends. It didn't work. I don't know. My mental health just deteriorated, and but at the end of that year, I got sent to emergency counseling because I was like talking a lot about suicide. I was very suicidal back then. That was a big problem with me. I had both of the roommates that I had started out with one roommate that year who was a bitch, and I only lasted a week with her. That's a whole nother story. I might do a video talking about all the fucking nightmare roommates I've had. The next roommate wasn't so bad, but she wasn't friendly, and I really wanted to have like a friendship with my roommate, and she was just didn't reciprocate it. And I remember doing like so much for her, and she just didn't care. And I don't know, that kind of fucked with me too. And I don't know, I just felt, the school was much bigger, first of all. I felt very lost. And I felt very like, I had such a hard time making friends. It felt impossible. And I don't know, I just got so depressed. I started to give up on my dream of like, am I really gonna be a singer or not? And to top it all off, on like, I think the second week there, say I was taking music again, and in my music theory class, my teacher took me to his office, the second week of being there, somewhere around those lines of like the first 2 weeks, took me to his office, sat me down, and he said to me, "You're not like my other students." Because music students are usually these bubbly, exceptional personalities of just, look at me, I play the flute. I don't know, music students are something else. And I'm obviously a little edgy, rocker, metalhead, goth rock type person. I'm not a super pompous whatever. I'm not, I guess, yeah, I'm not like other music students. I'm not, like, basically what he said to me is, "You're not like other girls," or something. But no, he said to me, I remember it, he said, "You don't have a very bubbly personality. You don't really fit in with everyone else's," I guess he was saying I don't fit in with their vibe or whatever, but, and he was like, "You should probably change that." I was shy back then. I was extremely shy, like painfully shy. So that really, like, I did not realize how messed up that was. I didn't tell anyone. Can you imagine your teacher taking you and telling you don't belong in his classroom because your personality is wrong? That's what I was told. My personality was incorrect for this area of academia. So I feel like that's one of the big snowballs that started its way. Snowball effect? I don't know what it was. And, you know, one of the things that kind of started my downward spiral. So I was already being told I don't belong there. I was struggling to make friends. I lost everything I had prior to that. It's just everything started to fall apart. Like I said, I got into emergency counseling at the end of the year. That didn't even go well because I didn't even like the therapist. We didn't mesh at all. Like, you know, when you have a good therapist. I did have a good therapist. At the other university, they had a therapist training there. He wasn't even a proper one, but he was like doing practice sessions, and I went a couple of times. I think every other week. I went as often as he was available because he was amazing. He wasn't even a proper therapist. He was amazing, and this actual guy who was an actual therapist sucked ass. So I didn't really benefit from that, anyways. But I was able to like flip the script in my head and like feel a bit better, because I started making my own music, and that helped. So the next year, I was living Not in dorm this time. I was living in a basement suite. I need to get some water. Sorry, I needed to get something to drink. And my drink of choice is chocolate milk. Yes, I was living in a basement suite with a roommate who ended up moving out like a month or two later. Anyway, so I was alone for most of that time. The people who owned the house were also gone for like the entire winter. So for most of my time living there, they just had their son living upstairs. I never talked to him. So I was alone for most of this time. And this is when I got like, I think this is the closest I've been to like actual depression. I didn't really leave. I didn't leave the house. I kind of just stayed in bed all day. I would only go to classes like once in a while, and then I would go for like tests and exams. I never really went to any of my classes. I just felt so lost. Like, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I in university? Like, what do I want? I don't know. I didn't know anymore. I was like, I suck it. Like, the whole feeling of being a failure and the feeling of feeling like I'm stupid. Like I'm too stupid for university. That was like really starting to enter my mind a lot. And I was failing. Like the last semester I failed a lot of classes too. And this time I failed even more. So by the end of the year, that's when I got in the suspension. So the summer afterwards, I got the letter. And I didn't even know this was a thing that could happen, right? I didn't even know I was on like, I think you get put on like probation once your grades get to a certain point, but the thing is nobody informed me. I wasn't aware. But the thing with being a university student is that sometimes you can develop like a fear of checking your grades. I don't know how it happened, but I developed that fear. I had developed that fear. So I never looked at my grades ever. So if there was ever like an email or something I got saying you're on probation because your grades are bad, I didn't see it because I had anxiety with that kind of stuff. It sucks because you're supposed to hold yourself accountable in university, but that can be a little bit difficult when you're depressed and you have anxiety, and it's like nobody's there to see it, and you're not going to get help because you feel like you're stupid and like helpless and worthless and undeserving, and it's just no good. So I got suspended that year. My grade point average was below 1. I'm laughing now. I was crying back then. And that's when I panicked. And I had felt like I could not tell my parents. I didn't have a very good relationship with them. And I know that can make it really difficult when it comes to being honest. And I should have been honest. But at the time, our relationship was so strained, and there's already so much secrecy between me and my parents. There still is. Like, that's never really gonna change. I've grown up to be a secretive person around them. I'm very open with everyone else. Everyone can know my life story, but they do not get to know. Sorry if this keeps changing. I'm like sitting on the floor. So yeah, I've like telling them was not an option for me. In my mind, it was not an option, which is I don't know. Everyone says like tell your family, and I just couldn't. So my crazy fucking ass spent the whole year lying about which teachers I had, what classes I had, what times those classes were at. I had to make alarms and stuff for myself for those fake classes so that I would make sure I wouldn't text my mom during those times, because then she'd wonder why is she texting during class, because my mom wants to know like when my classes are and all the information. I had to make everything, I had to fake everything to the last detail to get away with it, and I did get away with it. But lying about your grades, lying about being in school, lying about classes and like where you are and what you're doing is so stressful. It killed me. It was exhausting. Like, I would not recommend it at all. After living it, I don't recommend it. It was not fun. It just made me a bitter, angry, horrible person. I had never been such a bitter piece of shit that year that I ever have. But I had a year now where it was no school. So I was trying to find a job. I was working. And then I got this idea. Okay, do not take this the wrong way, because I am not trying to say that this is your solution, this is your way out. I feel like a lot of people have this idea that this will be their solution, this will be their way out. It's not gonna work for everyone. I am extremely lucky that it worked for me. Extremely lucky. That year that I was suspended, I started a YouTube channel. And it was gonna be my outlet. It was gonna be my, just gonna experiment with it. I was gonna take this time to try and make it on YouTube. Not the smartest idea in hindsight. But I made like 3 YouTube channels, something like that. I only have one that is still going the same as it was back then, or more or less the same. It's obviously changed names. If you don't already know what I'm talking about my Mother Macabre channel. If you're from that channel, if you're not from that channel, hi, I'm also an ASMR artist, YouTuber. My other channel is called Mother Macabre, and I have, as of right now, I think 66,000 subscribers. It is my job now. So that's what I do, and that's how that started. It started out of like getting kicked from university because I was hella fucking depressed. I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna do YouTube. That was 2017. So it took a long time to actually get anywhere where it was like a job. It wasn't like an instant fix, obviously. And I keep trying to sip. And it's not a guaranteed thing. Like, you have to, it gets a lot of work. It's not something to fall back on. I did work though. I eventually like moved up in my job. I actually became assistant manager there. That job also like is what brought me out of my shell and made me less of a shy person. So in a way, even though that was one of the worst years of my life, it kind of set me up to find my way. Instead of being stuck in university. I mean, it almost feels like fate sometimes, right? Yeah, I started this dinky little channel, wasn't expecting really much out of it, and now it's my job. It's like, I started a job in retail, and suddenly I'm the assistant manager there, and I'm like learning all kinds of freaking life skills and all kinds of just people skills and stuff like that would help me in the future. I did eventually go back to school. I think it was 2 years after? Yeah, because I said I wanted to take a year off, so technically I was suspended. And then the year I was supposed to go back, I just didn't go back. I took another year, which is fine. Like, 1 year might not be enough. You might need to take 2, 3, maybe you're just done. Like, maybe it's time to learn a trade, maybe it's time to just do something different. This is your moment to figure that out. But, so I worked for a year, and then I went back to school, but I changed my major. I was like, okay, music is not for me then. We're done with music. But I liked working in retail. I thought I was really good at it. I was like, why don't I just like become a manager or something? Why don't I make that my focus? Like, clearly I like doing this. So I changed my major to business, business arts or whatever. And that started out good. I did a part-time. I had just like 2, I can't even remember. My memory is shit, I'm sorry. I don't actually remember shit. I just remember this one teacher I had who was really, really good, and I learned management. I took a management class with him, and I took a business law class, and I fucking aced both of them because he was amazing. It was him. It was 100% him. I don't think I would have done it without him. He just, what a good teaching. I don't know what kind of teaching style he had, but it was freaking excellent. So I was like, oh yeah, look, I'm getting good grades. Like, this is for me. I went full head first into business. Fucked up. Failed. Hardcore failed. It was way harder than I was expecting. Again, the academic setting is just not for me. I'm realizing now that I'm a hands-on learner. I used to think that I was an auditory learner. I'm a hands-on learner. I'm realizing because I've learned more working in daycare about kids than actually taking humanities classes in high school. I've learned more about music from doing music than I did from actually taking music in school. And like being a vocalist in a children's band. Yes, I am in a children's band. It's called Rubber Ducky Band. It's on Spotify. I've learned more from, I guess, I don't know. I guess same with music. Like, I learned how to do sound design all by myself. I learned how to edit all by myself. I learned how to record all by myself. I learned how to sing all by myself. I learned how to voice act all by myself. I learned how to market all by myself. Like, and when it comes to doing the management stuff, I was really good at being a manager because I'm good at learning as I'm doing it. I'm good at learning hands-on. Learning about these things, the more practical things, like the academical, you know, the smarts and stuff. I guess street smarts is what I should say. I learned that way. I don't learn with a piece of paper filling in multiple choice. Like, I don't learn that way. So I failed again. And this was 2020. Sorry, winter of 2020 was when I my last time being at the school. It was my last semester where I got suspended again. I finished the semester, and then that summer I got another letter. And that letter said, your grades are shit. Don't come back for 3 years. So I am suspended then from 2021, 2022, 2023. I guess I can't go back till 2023 fall, I think. Not that I'm gonna go back. I'm not going back. You couldn't pay me to go back. Yeah. So I got suspended a second time, but by that time my YouTube channel was like a huge part of my income. I did still work for a while at other jobs. I actually learned how to pierce ears. Again, doing it with my own hands while I was while I was working. And now I just completely quit my jobs and I'm just doing YouTube. So yeah, that's what happened to me. It started with there being 1, no desire to go to school, 2, parents who were making decisions for me, 3, just bad emotional events that happened that kind of tore me down, and that needing of the need to belong just wasn't being fulfilled either, and I just really felt that, and so I felt very alone, very out of control, like I wasn't making my own choices, and like I didn't belong, again, because teacher also said I don't belong, so that's a big thing, but it was a lot. It was just a whirlwind of different things coming at me emotionally, and it just ruined me. It ruined me. They brought me to that point where I just couldn't. And then I guess combined with the fact that I'm just not that kind of a learner. It just the university setting was not for me. And I know that now. If anything, I would be more successful at learning a trade than whatever the university structure is. Well, I don't know, fucking. If anything, if I'm going to have a career one day, I would like to do piercing again, and like learn it properly, because all I was doing was ears. I never got to further that to doing other stuff, and I really liked doing it. I love stabbing people with a needle. It's really fun. But no, the only thing I hated doing was babies, but that's a whole nother every time I say this is a whole nother story. Oh, the dryer's done. I guess you might have heard that the whole time. Oops, sorry. Ambiance. I don't know. Now I can hear my neighbors talking. They're loud. Shush, go away. Go away. Okay, whatever. So that's like the most condensed version I could probably give of my experience. I got suspended twice. It just failed. And that fear of failure is still there. My parents don't know about the second suspension. Oh my gosh, they don't know about the second one. They found out about the first one years later because one of my friends, who was supposed to be my friend, who I can confide in with secrets, told my mom all my secrets that I had told her. So university, being goth, being stalked, like all of it. Told her everything that I talked to her about. Just snapped. We're not friends anymore, and that's like for sure. That was a big thing to explain, and it sucked, and she was mad, but she understood. My parents are now like supportive that I don't go to university. They think university is pretty fucked up now, so that works out for me. I don't have to feel pressure to go. There's also a lot of talk, I'll mention this because this is a big thing as well. A lot of talk within my family about me being the first girl to go to university. That's toxic. I'm sorry. Why am I doing this? That's toxic, okay? That I don't need to be the first girl to go to, like, I don't need to be, you know, my parents have this whole thing of, like, their children have to be trophies in a way, and that's always been a thing. I am not a trophy to them by any means. I've not really succeeded in the ways that they were hoping I would. My brothers have. My brothers are, like, high achievers. Like, they didn't go to school, but they both have, like, really good jobs now. They both always had trophies and shit when they were younger from doing sports. I didn't do sports or anything. I didn't have any accomplishments. I still don't have any accomplishments other than, I guess, a YouTube channel, but that's not considered an accomplishment in their eyes, I guess. I don't know. But that's the thing. That's the thing about it. I didn't meet, like, they had expectations and I didn't meet them, and that was just a very toxic place to be. I'm not really in that place now. I mean, it's still kind of there, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm gonna, you know, I'm 26. Like, what more can they fucking do to hang over my head? So, that's pretty much it. But if you watched all of this and you are still thinking about lying to your parents, do not do it. Please listen to me. Trust me when I say it sucks so much. And if you get caught, it's gonna be worse. So, I didn't get caught until later. Can you trust that other people won't say anything also? Because of my fucking friend, apparently I couldn't trust, so consider that as well. You never know who's gonna fucking out you. Just do it. Just bite the damn bullet and just get it over with. You can do it. You'll be fine. Unless you're in, like, a dangerous situation where your parents are, like, abusive, I guess. That's, like, a whole different thing, and you're probably gonna need to, like, get help and get out of there. And yeah, they probably don't need to know anything about anything ever if they're like that, so they can just fuck off. But my parents were not necessarily abusive, maybe a little bit emotionally abusive. But I think the biggest thing for me that scared me was that I relied on them a lot still, and I thought that I was gonna get disowned, because the threat of being disowned has happened before in the past. And that, I don't know how legitimate it was, but it hung over me for a long time. I still wonder if I'm ever gonna get disowned. Like, maybe one day it'll just happen. No, one day I'm gonna get caught being, because they don't know I'm goth either. Like, I'm not so much now, but, you know, my weird, it's the weirdness that I have. My weird little goth gene that I have. It's genetic. They have not witnessed it, and I'm afraid that when it has been seen, maybe not my mom, but my dad, if my dad sees that I'm goth, I feel like it is like a very guaranteed, you're disowned. So, like, I'm 99% sure I'm gonna get disowned. So we're kind of just waiting for that to happen. But just don't let that freak you out, sorry. Yeah, that's what happened to me. Emotional damage. But I hope that was helpful for anybody. I hope that was entertaining for whoever's just watching to watch. And just take care of yourselves. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna go, life goes on. Everyone finds a way. You'll find a way. Just, like, look for the support you can find now. be honest with yourself and with everyone around you, and take this time to figure out what is not working. Because something's not working for you. Like I said, this is your time to heal from whatever has been causing you to struggle and causing you to slip. And time to reflect on if this is even the right path for you. So, yeah. I hope that was helpful. I've said that like 20 times, I think. I've said this before. I don't know how to end videos. I should just fucking end them. Okay, bye!